Good morning, America. This is Scott in the shot. I've already had a couple shots, so I'm not going to do a shot in front of you guys. But how you guys doing today? This is Scott in the shot. Scott the Great coming at you today. And I want to talk about some things that are going on in the news again. Let's talk about the Democratic Party. Man, Donald Trump just won in a landslide. No matter how you look at it, he won in a landslide. And the Democratic Party is still being so crazy and weird and retarded. This new spending bill that Donald Trump just had squashed because he should. He's going to be the next president coming into office. Joe Biden is trying to spend all this money before he gets out of office to stifle the will of the people. We just said in record numbers, he lost every swing state that the 70% of the country is going the wrong direction. It is. We all have known that. Even the people that don't want to admit it, they know it is. But for some reason, they have some kind of diabolical reason for wanting to tank this country. But let's talk about the election. Let's talk about that spending bill. In that spending bill, they want people to work at home. The Democrats, they want it under contract. They want it contracted signed by this bill that the government, the people that work for the government, the millions of people that work in the government in Washington D.C. don't have to show up for work for another 5 years. So people can stay at home and not work at the office, at their desk that they were supposed to work at when they got hired years ago before COVID, to work at home. They don't want to show up for work anymore. How many people has it in the real world have the right to decide if they want to work at home or go to work? You're supposed to show up for work, people, and especially our government. If a national crisis comes onto this country, say we get attacked by somebody or we go to war, does everybody want 90% of our government being at their house when the shit's hitting the fan? There's money in there to continue these DEI programs that I'm adamantly against. If you're not the best person for the job, you shouldn't get it regardless of your color or race. The disdain that Joe Biden and the Democratic Party have for this country is highlighted more and more every day. They don't care about what you think or what you voted on. They just don't. They're still trying to push their issues and tank the incoming president, Donald Trump, from straightening out this country like we've all voted for. They're trying to tank it with spending all this money in the most dumbest way, like selling off our border wall for pennies of the dollar that we will have to repay for it to have done because Donald Trump's going to have it done. We want it done. It's going to happen. But they're trying to sell that off. And so you get taxed more money to buy it all again. Where does the hypocrisy stop at, people? Oh, my Lord. I don't even know where to get started at when it comes to these whiny, little, immature Democrats. I'm not talking and I know the Democratic Party is in sync with the Democratic voter. They're all crazy. They don't care what kind of harm it brings to this country as long as Donald Trump is not in office or any Republican. Let's be honest. Everybody likes to act like the disdain that the Democratic Party and the Democratic voter has for our party is all Donald Trump. No, they have disdain for whatever conservative or Republican is in office. They don't care about half the country's will or their demands to be fair. I mean, as he's going out the door, Joe Biden, he's not even there. Who's making these decisions and who's writing these bills when Biden's MIA? Kamala Harris, MIA. The government's about ready to get shut down. And hey, people, check it out. I'm on Social Security and I get a pension for being disabled because I got hurt on the job. I got enough money saved to where all I gotta say is shut down that government and stop all this wasteful spending. I will get my money back when the pandemic's over. They'll have to pay me my money if it stops coming, and I got enough money to be able to deal with that no matter how long it takes. So, as an American citizen, shut down that government. Shut down that government. Make them spend our money in a manner that deserves respect. Respect for the bill and respect that bill for the American citizens. And stop trying to screw us every chance they get. Even as they lost and they're still sore losers. Out the door, they're willing to screw every American, including the Democrats, because they're so pouty about losing an election that they should have known they were going to lose because their policies have damaged and changed the fabric of this country in a way to where we just voted that is unacceptable. The majority of this country does not want the fabric of this country changed like that. We voted. We did it. The Democrats lost every swing state. They lost. They lost the popular vote. They lost the electoral college. They lost the Senate. They lost the House. That means crawl in your hole and deal with it, and deal with it with a little bit of dignity, and let the people's will be heard and let it be enacted. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, what is so wrong with that? Lose a little bit of dignity. You lost. Donald Trump in the last election lost from stifling free speech, and excuse me, our government hiding things. Donald Trump just won a 100% across the board legit election fairly. Deal with it. Get over it. And stop crying like a little bitch. And expecting us and try to and on the way out, stop trying to screw your fellow Americans. It doesn't matter. You don't like me because I'm not a transgender. You don't like me because I don't think we should give free money away to everybody in the world. Why does the Democratic Party hate us so bad? Why do they hate the rest of the country so bad? Because we have different beliefs. I thought that's what democracy is based on. Democracy is based on different beliefs, and all these beliefs come together. You vote once a year, and the majority wins. And then the rest of the people have to suck it up and deal with it. And if you want a different outcome, they get a better candidate that has a better message that all of us can understand. The Democratic Party lost because their message is falling on deaf ears because we've been lied to for so long. Man, watching Jean Paul, whatever her name, that the House, the press secretary for the White House, watching Kamala Harris, watching Joe Biden, watching that dingle Shiv. I call her Dingleberry. Her name's Dingle, but all these people don't get it. They don't get it. They lost. You lost. Period. You lost it all. You lost the Senate, the House, the presidency. That means we think your ideas suck as a whole. We voted against it, but yet they're still trying to go out the door and shove that shit down our ass. I mean, that pisses me off. I mean, what? I guess all I got to say about people is I hope they keep doing what they're doing because it's just solidifying what we already knew, that they're corrupt, that they're evil, that they hate our country. They don't care about our country, people. They sold out to whatever to either their personal views on transgenders, or they're bought out by China, or whatever. But they sold this country out a long time ago. The Democrats. They don't give three shits about the health, the prosperity of this country, and the safety. They just don't care. They just don't care. Who's been the president for the last 4 years? You know it's not Joe Biden. Obviously, it's not Kamala Harris. Has Joe Biden's aides been running this country? Is that why all this weird stuff has happened? Because he obviously wasn't all there. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it, especially the Democratic Party. I mean, they know he hasn't been coherent. Where's he been since the election? Except popping up and saying a couple of incoherent things. Oh, go. Looking like he does. I mean, where's Joe Biden? Where's the president and the vice president? I mean, and today they're talking about Speaker Johnson's the one that messed up this. No. Speaker Johnson's a piece of shit, and he's going to be out of office here soon. Speaker Johnson will not be the Speaker of the House as soon as Donald Trump gets in. He's done. Excuse me, I have a cold. He's done. But I don't know, people. You know, getting on here every day and talking to you people and doing my podcast is really difficult because it's hard to repeat yourself every day on certain things. You know, you hope people grow up. You hope they become mature, and they understand the real issues that America's facing and their fellow citizens. I mean, but so I don't even know how much longer I can do a podcast for because I really hate. I don't know how Joe Rogan and how these press secretaries go on every day and talk the same stupid shit to retarded people. I mean, sometimes I think to myself, man, I'm just talking to the wall because people are just that stupid. You can sit there and throw every type of common sense at them, and they just don't care. Maybe America's had it so easy for so long, and we've had it so good for so long that people lose their mind when it comes to reality. Reality, people. I mean, we're talking common sense and reality. How long do they think that American citizens were going to go along with this transgender shit, with open borders, with talking down our allies in wartime like the Israelis? And you noticed Putin wants to come to the table now and talk peace in Ukraine. You know why? Not because of Joe Biden. He's a wussy. Because there's a strong man that just got voted into as our president again, called Donald Trump. A man of integrity, a man of principle. I mean, and they already know that they have to come to the table or it's on like Donkey Kong. And honestly, I don't give a shit which way it goes. But excuse me. I apologize, people. Like I said, I have bad lungs. I have 2 nodules in my lungs. But anyway, all the way out the door, these Democrats they're gonna fight the will of the American people, the majority that just voted on this election. Donald Trump had a reason to fight last time because he got cheated through stifling of free speech, through lies. 51 intel agents, the Russia hoax, they smeared him so bad that he lost that last election, and they cheated. They cheated on the election. I don't care what anybody says. Donald Trump just won it straight up, square and fair and square. He just straight up won it, and they can't handle it. Man, oh man, I've never seen so many children in my life. The Democratic Party, the adults are not even adults. They're bigger children than the children that we were raising that are in grade school. They're pouting. They're bullies. They're evil. They're everything that they say they're not. That's what I see. And it's really getting quite hard for me to talk about it anymore because, but I'm going to keep doing it because it's hard to repeat yourself when it comes to people that are just so ignorant, they just don't get it. And if they don't get it, they're probably never going to get it. So me sitting here trying to school them is wasting my time. Because they just don't get it. Because they just don't care about us. They're so weird. They care about that one little weirdness that they got so much that they will take this country no matter what kind of harm it does to the American way of life, to our safety, to our freedom. That's what's going on here. What else is there to say about it? Joe Biden, he lost because he's a straight up old man with all kinds of problems. He should have never been elected to begin with. He wouldn't have been elected if they would have cheated in this prior election. And then they pointed the finger at January 6th saying Donald Trump was trying to cheat. No. All this time they've been trying to hide their corrupt view on the world and their policies, the things Joe Biden's doing behind the back to get money. You know why all that pork was in this bill, people? You know why they want? All that pork that was in that bill, a 1,500-page bill that they bring out one night before you're supposed to elect. They're supposed to vote on it. Where does that money go to? Do you really think they paid $14 million for a shrimp to run on a treadmill? It's a 20-gallon tank that costs like $40. You buy a little treadmill in there, it probably costs another $100, and you throw a shrimp in there. And they, if I remember right, that for that pork right there, that was like a $14 million thing. Do you really think that they paid somebody $14 million to buy a tank, put a shrimp in there with a little treadmill and watch it? No. Where's that money going to? Where does that $14 million go to? Where does all the money from these stupid pork, these little pork, the pork that's in these bills, when they're all, they're not paying that kind of money to do that kind of stuff. They're not paying $50 for a screw when it comes to building a plane. Where is this money really going to that we're spending in our government? No sane kind of, no, if you're sane at all, if you have any kind of competency at all, that somebody pays somebody millions of dollars to watch a shrimp on a treadmill. So where'd that money go? I can tell you right now, I can go buy a treadmill. I could buy a tank. I could buy a shrimp and throw it in there, watch it run out, and put a little camera there. And I could do all that for probably $1,000. And then pay somebody to watch it and monitor it for a year, probably for another $30,000. So you tell me, where did the millions of dollars go to? That's just one thing that's on these prior bills. Where did that money go? Because you know they didn't spend whatever $1 million it was on that bill. Are they pocketing it? Where does that money go? Where does that money really go? Excuse me. Where does the money really go on all this pork? If you really think that that our government's so stupid, they're spending millions upon millions of dollars on all this stupid stuff like a shrimp on a treadmill, then you are truly naive. That money is going to the pockets of these government officials. That's what else could it be? Because if they are truly spending that kind of money for something that stupid, maybe we should put them out to be shot as a treasonist and taking our money and just being that stupid with it. I'm just saying, that's my opinion. Maybe they ought to be shot for treason or something, or just being that stupid. What possible reason would you need to study a shrimp on a treadmill? Please, somebody call me. Let me know. Get a hold of me on my pod somehow, and let me know what possible reason would they have to study a shrimp on a treadmill for millions of dollars. That's from a while ago. But what is that all about? In that bill that Donald Trump had squashed for our new spending bill, they wanted people to stay at home. It's kind of like a contract that was in there that if they sign it, then everybody in government office that's working at home from right now, 90% of every government official that's working at home gets to stay at home for the next 5 years. Hey, people, do you have to show up for work? My wife has to show up for work every day. I'm retired, but I had to show up every day. You can't build a house if you're not there. My wife is a manager at McDonald's. They can't serve food if they're not there. So where do these people where do they get off on thinking that they can just work for home and not listen to our government tell them to get back to work? Well, they're not telling them that. That's why they're staying home. But that's all I'm saying. They can't even show up for work. They care so little about our country that they can't even get out of bed every day like everybody else, like every other normal American, get showered up and go to work. They don't want to do it. They're still wearing their masks because they're afraid of COVID. They're not really afraid of people. This is a big act. This is a big fucking act. They're fucking, if it's not an act, then these people are so crazy that there's no way they should be working in any type of government office as a secretary or anything. Maybe they can park cars out there. But other than that, if they really think that working at home benefits our government, it benefits them. It doesn't benefit the people of this country. It doesn't give them confidence in our government. And that's the bottom line. And they're getting paid to stay at home and smoke weed, make porno movies, do coke or whatever because they're in their own home. But they're not getting made to go back to work. Real work. I'm talking, even though they have a desk job, they're probably on a typewriter or a computer somewhere. I still want them to earn that pay by getting up out of fucking bed and showing up at the goddamn building where they're supposed to work, going to work and clocking in. Is that so much to ask? Why is that so wrong to ask? And if these people are so sketched out over COVID still, then they need to be out of our government. At minimum, they need to be out of our government because they need to go crawl in a hole somewhere and try to file for SSI or something for being retarded. I mean, what else is there to say about it? I mean, I hate coming on here and talking this way, people, but how else do you look at these simple problems? These are simple problems that any simple-minded person should be able to figure out. It's just a travesty. And that Johnson, the Speaker of the House, shame on you but you little worm. He's a worm, and I hope when Donald Trump gets in office that Speaker Johnson is out the door because look at that little pussy worm. He's just a worm, cowing down. I mean, I know that Donald Trump's Congress is and the Senate's not in place yet, but what a little worm to cow down and allow that kind of money to be spent on bullshit. I mean, wasting our money is wasting our money, whether it's before Donald Trump gets into office or before he gets into office. It don't even matter. I mean, stop it. Stop with wasting our money and showing the American people that that's how much disdain you have for us, is to waste our money just to get a bill passed because you don't want to shut down the government. Well, maybe the government needs shut down, people, until they figure it out. And if you are on Medicare, on Social Security, if you get services from the government like I do because I'm retired, then suck it up. I got plenty of money to last for a fucking year. I want that government shut down, and I want our government to be held responsible for the wasteful spending of our tax dollars. Is that so hard to understand? Do I need to talk slower so you understand? What is so hard for people to understand? What is so hard for people to understand that? Why is that so hard? People need to show up for work. We need to stop wasting our government's money. Our people, it's not the government's money, it's our people's money. We hire them by voting for them to get into office to spend our money in a wise manner that benefits all Americans, not a special interest, not other countries, especially not them. They want a $6,000 raise. They just got a raise a year or two ago. Since COVID, I've gotten one raise on my Social Security. One raise. I got one raise on my LNI because I got hurt on the job. One raise, and it wasn't for no $6,000. I mean, my God, they want free money for doing nothing. They want free money they're doing worse than nothing. They're fucking the American people with all these, and they're getting money with all these bullshit things they're spending on. Remember this, people. There's no way our government spent millions of dollars on those shrimp on a treadmill. Where'd that money go? There's no way they're that stupid, people. If you actually think our government spent actually whipping out a check for a tread on a treadmill for millions of dollars, then you're sadly stupid. You are dumb. That money is going somewhere else. Where's it going? Because there's no way any normal person, even a retard, would give somebody millions of dollars to monitor a shrimp on a treadmill in a 20-gallon tank. What else do you look? How else do you look at that? I mean, my God, like I said, people, if our government wants to make it square with the American people, or I mean, on a whole, they need to send us all a $10,000 check. Every single American citizen, every man, woman, and child who's American, 10 grand, because they got so much money to give away to everybody else. They got so much money to give away to themselves. They got so much money to give away for all these stupid little shrimp on a treadmill. I mean, but they don't have for us. They can't just send us a check, not because of COVID, because we are American citizens and we deserve it. If that's the kind of money they have to waste, if that's the kind of money they have to throw away, then throw it towards us. That's all I gotta say about that. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with our government acknowledging that we have hardworking American citizens here that have been putting up with all their crap for all these years, all this wasteful spending, but none of it is ever on us. None of this free money they give away to countries, none of this free money they give away to illegals, none of this free money they give to shrimp on a treadmill, none of that money ever gets given to the American people unless you're on welfare. But the hardworking person of this country gets nothing. The middle class, the upper middle class, the rich, they get nothing out of it except a tax break and it's a petroleum to put on your butt before they F you. That's how I look at it. There's no other way to look at it, people, that we're getting hosed no matter what. Donald Trump he's like the savior of the world for right now. He's like the savior of the world, the only man on the planet that's in government that has any common sense. You know what I'm saying? I have common sense. Most people don't. My family, even my own family, some have common sense, some don't. But Donald Trump is the only one who's came or tried to run for office since Reagan. That I mean that fuck Clinton, F Obama. They sucked. I don't give a shit what they did. Everything they did came to pass later on after they got out of office. That wasn't good. Kind of like the housing crisis that happened after Bill Clinton left. Bill Clinton, when he's in office, check this out. The housing crisis came in 2008. After Bill Clinton was out of office, it came when Obama was in office. You know why? Because of adjusted rate mortgage, because of adjusted mortgages on your house. If you can't afford to buy a home, if you can't afford it right then nobody should give you a loan to see if you can afford it 5 years from now. That was Clinton. Bill Clinton is directly responsible for the housing crisis that happened back in 2008 because he allowed adjusted rate mortgages to be on houses. My brother almost lost his house. He almost lost it because his mortgage went from $900 to $1,500 after a few years. And that was so he had to really get his shit together, and he did get it together, and he saved his house. But most people didn't. That's why you had all these people foreclosing on their mortgages, because Clinton, in order to help Clinton out with the economy, he went to the banks and allowed these adjusted rate mortgages to happen. In the hopes that if you can't afford a house now when you first buy it, in 5 years you'll be able to, but the mortgages go from here to there. Most people's you see how the world is, people. If you can't afford $1,500 opposed to $800 in 5 years, most people don't make that kind of difference in money in 5 years from an $800 a month mortgage to a $1,500 a month mortgage. So a lot of people lost their homes. It was called an adjustable rate mortgage. That was what Clinton put into office, and after he was out of office, it all fell apart on Obama's watch. That's a fact. I mean, so screw Clinton. Obama, he's a fucking joke. I mean, Biden is the biggest joke. We need to get back to only voting in Republicans, people, and that doesn't mean they're perfect. I'm not saying a Republican president or a Congress or a Senate is perfect. I'm saying that they're way, way more honest and more perfect than a Democrat. I mean, the Democrats already showed us when they had the House, the Senate, and the presidency for a while that they can't get nothing done except screwing the American people and lining their own pockets full of cash. Everybody gets money except the hardworking people of this country. People remember that. This is Scott and a Shot. Hey, man, have a great day. And I'm just coming on here trying to show people what's up. I'm just trying to show people the hypocrisy of it all. I mean, it's just nuts, people. You got to start being a self-thinker and real and think about your neighbors, your friends, your family, and stop worrying about that little thing, this little thing, and worry about the health of our country as a whole. And if you do that, maybe we can all get on the same page again and stop worrying about all this crazy stuff that doesn't matter to the everyday American. All right, this is Scott and a Shot. Scott the Great. I hate to say it, but you just got schooled, and I'm out of here.